Well, that'll help you out with your back-to-school shopping. And I think if you were listening there, what you heard was have a plan. Well, boy, that's especially true in these financial times right now. And as always, we are so lucky to have Steve Sexton with us from the Sexton Advisory Group. Normally for our Money Minute, but a minute's not going to cover today, so we want you to stay a little bit longer.
Okay.
And you're getting quoted in the Wall Street Journal these days, I understand?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we've come to the right guy. What is going on with these markets right now? We just, on the news here, we just saw we're up 200 points as we speak. We might be down 200 by the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. You know what? In the last 3 weeks, we've seen S&P say, look, if you don't make this debt deal done right, we're going to downgrade you, and everybody saw that. And on top of that, we've had a European bank crisis. And then we find out that Germany and France are meeting, and they said, you know what? We don't really want to add any more money because our economies are contracting as well. And on top of that, we have almost 3 years of 9% unemployment. Housing's down. You got J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs saying, hey, we're on the verge of recession.
But there's the market right now. And again, it's up nearly, 1 3/4 points right now, but still well below that 12,000 mark that we thought was going to be a support level. So,
but people are, what they're really doing is they're being optimistic about hoping some good news is coming. And then when that doesn't come, you see the downslide. And I'm not saying everything's going down or predicting the market, but that's typically what's happening because people are looking for optimism.
So they're calling people like you, and you specifically, and are they panicking? Should they be?
Well, let's talk about panic. Many people called their advisor recently and the person says, hey, don't panic, don't worry, it'll all come back, okay? The problem is they did that in the tech bubble, they did it in the housing bubble, and here they are maybe a couple percent above where they started with 10 years ago, and they're going, hey, when should I start panicking? And the big question here is you shouldn't panic until you ask a whole bunch of questions. And the questions should be, look, you know what, you have to look at your financial plan like you're employing people, because you know what, you're employing the IRS because you pay them every single year, and when you turn 7.5, they get a bonus. You're employing an advisor, and you know what, they get paid whether you make money or not. So you want to understand how much they're getting paid, and that could be fees, expenses, charges, taxes. There's some bond funds that have 2% taxes. And when people begin to understand that and they realize, hey, you know what, I have a large percent of the returns I'm supposed to get I'm not getting because these fees and expenses. Now, they're going to be there, but you want to have them minimized as much as possible. Now, when we sit and talk with somebody, we ask them a large number of questions. People should be doing that before they panic with their advisor first. And what I mean by that is Wall Street thinks people are stupid. The reality is they're not. They make logical decisions. The problem is they make them based off inefficient or mythical information. And when they do that, they make decisions that adversely affect them in the future. The problem is most people don't know, hey, I know the first 3 questions, but I don't know the 4, 5, and 6 question. So that's where they need to sit down with an advisor to understand that 4th, 5th, and 6th question, to understand how it's going to affect them now.
So you really need to go several layers deep in here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because you hear the basic advice as well, it depends on your risk tolerance. You know, how adverse are you to risk, or how well do you handle risk? Well, you know, everybody gets asked that question. I'm pretty comfortable. I have about at least 10, 15 years to retirement. Oh, good. Then we can keep you in riskier investments. Well, that's just a very superficial approach to the whole problem. So you delve into this in great length in these free seminars that you do. I know you've got them coming up on September 8th and the 15th.
Actually, 13th and 15th.
13th and 15th. Oh, that was a date change. I'm sorry. We talked about that ahead of time. 13th and the 15th.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So where are these going to be, and how do we get people involved then?
They're at the Sheraton Resort in Carlsbad. People can call in or go to our online at sextonadvisorygroup.com. They can call our office and ask for Gina at 1-800-560-2611.
And they are free, but the space is really limited. So
it's filling up real fast.
Really need to make plans ahead of time. Now, in the meantime, you know, this next one is coming up again, like you said, on the 13th and the 15th. In the meantime, what questions should we be asking today before we let this go any further? Before
you do any type of investment, it's very important to ask 5 questions, and we ask them of all. Have you adequately reviewed my personal financial situation, and how is this in my best interest? Okay, that's number 1. That means if I'm going to need to buy a car in 5 years, do I have the money to do it? Number 2, how will this affect my taxes not only now but in the future? Because some investments will blow up on you from a tax perspective down the line as well. Number 3, How will this affect my income and liquidity needs? Will it be able to step up with inflation? Will it not? Will I have enough to spend because I'm going to need more down the line? How will this affect my risk comfort level? You brought that as well as how will this affect the transition of my state to my heirs?
Right.
And if you ask those questions and not yes or no answers, they're more like essay answers, because that way people can identify, hey, this is in my best interest, not only now but in the future, which makes a lot of good sense.
All right, Steve Sexton, the Sexton Advisory Group. Folks, please take advantage of the free seminars. Again, the 13th and the 15th. But you need to call and reserve a space, because this valuable information is key to what's going on these days, and a lot of folks are going to want to hear what Steve has to say, including the Wall Street Journal, I might add. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
It's always good to see you, Steve.
Good to see you, Mark.
All right, if you need more information, you go to san diego 6.com and you click on San Diego Living.